Hey there everyone, are you looking for a bit more way to get creative and complex with some of your video editing effects? Well, good news for you because today we'll be covering how to do that with the graphic editor in Olive Video Editor. Welcome to the Digital Paul Workshop. It is I, the swirl effect that spins your clear idea into a dizzy mess, Techno Meow Tinkerer. Let's log on in. So right before we get into using the graphic editor, I want to address an issue. But before I can address the issue, we got to activate the graphic editor. Now I got my default file set up here, and so I come up to the Windows, and I select graphic editor. And if you're wondering why it ain't showing on this screen, it's because it's showing on my other monitor. For some reason, it's bringing up on my primary monitor, but I can't currently slide it over and put it in with Olive. But I did find out how to do that, get it to actually move, is I come down here first, lock panels, and it locks everything in place where you can't kind of move things around. If I come back and then I unlock it, it then actually brings me a little tool taskbar. And so now I can come and bring it on up into here. Now, if I have to do that every time I close out Olive, but if Olive is open, and I create a new file, it's going to just keep it here. So when if I was to deselect it and then reselect it, it's in this area where I placed it. So that's something to keep in mind depending on how you're using it. I don't know how they address this in the second version because I haven't yet upgraded that. But to show a few things, let's actually bring in I want to bring in an image. We'll use my old classic one here, and my old backdrop. Now you see here, brings up this right here, the editor, and you can't really do, I never could get this to actually work as far as doing anything initially to start with here. But before we actually show you how to activate this, I'm going to show a few key features. Like if I'm holding down the shift key and then I use my scroll wheel, it moves up and down the timeline. Same thing with the alt key. I'm not really seeing much of a difference. Well, no, the alt key actually it's speeding through, but I'm not really seeing much. Now, if I hold down the shift key, it lets me zoom on out. I want to say the alt key. Yeah, the alt key actually, you hold it down, I think it's actually allowing me to bring more of the timeline in that way. And this way, yeah, that's what it is. The alt key moves the amount of the timeline you see. The shift key lets you go back and forth along the timeline, and then the control key and scroll wheel, and all this is with the scroll wheels that you move about. So right now I'm going to go back to my effects, select my image. I'm going to go add fisheye. I'm going to add the fisheye. That way we can kind of see some stuff we're going. Now I'm going to come up here to the end, and I'm going to actually set the keyframe here. Then I'm going to come back at the beginning. I'm going to move this to 0 so it'll create a keyframe there. So as we can kind of go across, you can kind of see the fish eye growing, shrinking, depending. Now, sometimes depending upon the issues, I had to make sure I have one of these selected when I go over to the graphic editor to bring this up, because yeah, see, right now I just deselect and select that and nothing's up. So I have to make sure sometimes that I have clicked on one of these to bring up the scale. Let's zoom out. No, I'm going to zoom out some. So as you can kind of see, that's the beginning, that's the end. And I can kind of adjust these. So if I was to grab this and move, you see how it just changes the fish eye right there on the front. Same thing on the back. I could actually grab this. And see, this is the ending point of the keyframe, and this is the beginning. Now also I can come in here and click and kind of add another one, so I can kind of change some stuff around if I want to. And this is just working with the linear. We also have the Bezier, which allows you to add curves, so it can kind of change. So if I do this with it, so we start here at the beginning, play, you can see how it comes in, out, and then back in. So I can kind of create that feature. So I can kind of see when you want to get into some complex video editing that this might come in and especially if you want something like do like I did there, just to bounce in and out of. I have yet to see where it's beneficial versus just doing very simple, like a simple movement. So like if I was to come in here, I'm going to just delete this. I don't need this no more. And I decided at the start of this, move here, and then over at this end, I want it move up here. To me, I don't see the point in having it, but I will point out something. When you go to the graphic editor, in this case, let me zoom out a little bit more. As you can see, I got two lines here. Let me see. Well, let me scroll up and down. It's not gonna let me really scroll up and down on this thing. That's the one thing. And so I got two different lines here. Let's see. You can see how they kind of cross. One is for the, was it the vertical? And one's for the horizontal movement. So we'll come back to the beginning. And we kind of see some of this stuff at. And so if I grab the green line and maybe see that's the, that's going up and down, that's the horizontal. This is going across the vertical. And so you can kind of move some stuff around. I can create a, let's create a dot. Move that up there. Now I want to move this one down here. And so now when I do this, you can kind of see it like it's bouncing around. So like I said, when you want to do more complex movements, this does seem to be a better choice. Do the Bezier, which happens to only work on the last one I clicked on. So you see that's linear. That's the Bezier. And I can zoom out so I can see. Okay, I gotta really zoom out. If I can kind of see that. I don't know why it's putting it so far out for. That way now I can really adjust some of this stuff. So we do something crazy like that. So when it plays, boy, it really goes off in sort of a craziness. And that's just the basics on the graphic editor in Olive. And I really haven't found a practical use yet on how to use it, but maybe you can. And I might end up using it in the future. I have not decided yet or how I wish to use such a thing. But if you like my content, you can go to these websites right here to support me in different ways. Links to some of them are in the description, as well as like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you think might find it interesting. And if you want to learn a bit more about some of the effects you can do in Olive, I recommend you check out my video exploring Olive distort effects, crop, swirl, and more. Until next time, have a nice day.